Hello, everyone. I woke up with the worst migraine pain this morning. I've suffered from migraines for years. It's nothing new for me. Um, this is a weather related migraine. I am in the path of the next snowstorm coming this weekend, and it's supposed to be another brutal one. We are still recovering from a 2-footer this past weekend, and we're in line for another possible 2 feet of snow this weekend. This morning on my local station, they even said the B word, that we might get a blizzard. So I thought I would just talk about a couple of things that I've observed from this past snowstorm that we take advantage of every day. And they're simple things, really, but it's not something you would think about unless you were in an area that gets a lot of snow. You might not know this stuff even goes on. The first thing that I noticed was driving down the street to the supermarket last night. There were mounds and mounds of snow. I can't even tell you how high they were. They were higher than the actual supermarket building. It was quite astonishing to see these things in person. So it's not just the mounds of snow, but it makes it difficult to park a car in the supermarket plaza because the mounds of snow take up so much room. I don't know if you can see Pepper's shadow right now. She's behind the curtain, and Jax is sitting there, and they're having a fight because I don't know if he knows it's Pepper or thinks it's his shadow. I don't know what's going on here, but they were just catfighting through the curtain. It was really funny. We almost couldn't even get a parking spot because the mounds of snow just take over the whole landscape and it leaves very little spots left. But thankfully, we went at a time when it wasn't busy anyway, and we were able to get a spot not close to the building. And I think it was like 10 degrees or something. It was really cold, but at least I was able to do some grocery shopping. And I usually don't go in the store. I like to do the pickup. But in this case, I had to because when I did the Walmart pickup, they didn't have everything I needed. So I ended up having to go to the smaller grocery store in town to get some things. Another consideration is as you're driving down like a 2-lane road, the right lanes are completely blocked with snow. So when they cleared off sidewalks and they cleared off parking lots and streets, they made a wall of snow and they pushed it into that right lane of the road. So the main road in our town is 2 lanes each way. And it was very dangerous because it was confusing. There were no, orange cones or DOT signs or anything alerting people. And you just kind of had to maneuver into one lane. And if you had to turn right, that was kind of dangerous too, because you would normally turn from the right lane. Now it's just a mess. And also the sidewalks. That's another thing. Sometimes I walk downtown and I do some errands. There is no way I'm walking out there right now. The sidewalks have been shoveled. It's really super dangerous right now because the sidewalk on one side has a big mound of snow in the parking lot, but then on the other side of the sidewalk, it's like 3 or 4 feet high. So even if you're walking down a sidewalk, you can't see anything. It's like a tunnel. And you might think that sounds cool, but if you live here and try to deal with it, it's pretty dangerous. Also, I was worried that I'd even get a parking spot at the gym last night. So I went to the gym and the piles and piles of snow in that particular parking lot were piled up in one whole row of where people usually park. Thankfully, there weren't a lot of people at the gym last night. So, I was able to get a parking spot, but that's another consideration. Next to it, there's a plaza with a grocery store and a package store and like a little shopping thing. And that parking lot was way worse. Half of the parking lot was blocked with these mounds. I mean, 20 feet mounds isn't out of the question. and they're all over the parking lot. Now, another thing to consider is when you're coming out of a road and you're taking a right and you can turn right on red, the sidewalk. Okay, so that's shoveled, but then like I said, you have the mound of snow on one side and then you have this wall of snow that encroaches into the right-hand lanes. So if you're turning right out of a parking lot or a street or a driveway, you can't see to turn right. And people were coming out right into the road, and it made it a very dangerous situation because they couldn't see us and we couldn't see them. It made it for a very dangerous situation. And now I hear on the news we're getting another 2 feet possibly this weekend. And I'm just saying to myself, this is really a nightmare. Like, I don't see myself getting out of here anytime soon. Now, another consideration that you may not even think about, I had placed an order from Walmart for shipping, and it was free shipping, and they shipped it by FedEx. But they separated the order into 2 packages. And one package arrived Saturday morning here last weekend before the storm started. But then the second package never made it. And Saturday night, I was starting to worry because I'm like, oh no, the package isn't here yet. And it's supposed to be snowy on Sunday. So I waited and waited and waited. Today, when I'm filming this, it's Thursday. The storm started Sunday. So what's that? 4 days later? I still have no package. And Walmart actually refunded the money and canceled the order because they said it got lost. I bet you anything, it's stuck in a FedEx facility because the trucks here weren't running for like a day or two after the storm. I know they're running now because I've seen them on the roads, but I think it's just in a facility and they're just behind. So that's another consideration. Now we're going into another storm. So I'm keeping that in mind, not to order anything, just so that won't happen again. Another consideration is if you have like propane gas and oil heat, our gas company is backed up like 2 weeks. So I can't even get a delivery right now. We have half a tank of oil, so we're good. We always keep on top of that kind of thing. And our propane is okay. It's about half a tank full. But even if we needed a delivery today, we wouldn't be getting it until after the storm this weekend. So that's another consideration, and that's a serious one. People need these things for heating. I also wanted to mention another serious consideration, and this is really serious. We can't see, once it snows, what's under the snow on the ground. You can't see through snow, right? I know somebody who let their kid go sledding, and there was rotten wood with nails in it under where they went sledding, and the kid got cut up by a nail. So that's another very important consideration. Be careful where you play in the snow. You know, you just want to make sure you know the area before you go and belly flop or try to sled or do anything like that in the snow, because that really happened to this child, and that's another consideration I bet some people wouldn't even have thought about, like this parent. Now the girls are fighting, Oreo and Pepper. Pepper just made her way out of the curtain, and Oreo is like, what are you doing? Oh my goodness. Girls. Kitties. Jax is just watching them. He's like, oh brother. They're trying to behave now, but Pepper went behind the curtain again, and she's just causing all kinds of trouble. I was grateful at the grocery store, though. It didn't seem like they were out of a whole lot of things, so I was able to get everything I needed. But my thoughts do go out for those who still have no power. My thoughts go out to all those who need food and may not be able to get to the store to get it. And if you know of somebody who needs help, you know, do what you can to help somebody. You know, if you see an elderly neighbor and they don't have their sidewalk shoveled or they can't get out to get to the store, these are the people that we need to be caring for and helping during this difficult time. You know, I have had relatives in wheelchairs. I have elderly relatives. And yes, you can set up like a grocery delivery. You can Instacart and all that. But when the storm hits, they need to have the stuff in shelter in place because you're not going to be able to get a delivery during the storm. So just reach out and see who you know that may need help and just offer a hand, because we're going to be hunkering down during this difficult time. And here we go again. Everybody stay safe and warm.